Peace. We got to quit letting these religious institutions, educational institutions, medical institutions, media, and the government control our minds. I was doing a knowledge to this book and I came across a process that some of these organizations utilize to guide, aka control the minds of the masses. The first step in this process is for the organization or institution to create a need or a desire for the services or the solutions that the organization claims to have. And this is done most of the time utilizing fear. Just take the concept of heaven and hell, or the concepts of heaven and hell, for example, in regards to religious institutions. See, they give you these concepts, or they give you the concepts of heaven and hell, and they tell you that the only way to salvation is to connect with this God that they created. And if you don't connect with this God that they created via the institution or the church that they have created, then you are subject to eternal damnation. So you must go to this church or this temple, pay your tithes, listen to this pastor, and don't question them, so you can reach eternal bliss. So now you have become passive. You have become submissive to this doctrine because fear was instilled and implanted in you. And that's the second step to the process. The second step to this process is for the individual or for the organization to have the individual lose faith in themselves in order for them to submit and commit to the organizational needs of the institution. So this fear is instilled, and now you have lost all faith in your ability to discover the answers, solutions, or what have you that the organization claims to have. So instead of you being the scientist, the true scientist that you really are, and discovering all the answers and the solutions via your own methods or utilizing your own mind, you don't believe that you can do that. So now you seek all these pastors, you seek this doctor, you seek this teacher, and they pretty much can tell you anything. But due to the fact that they possess this label, you are afraid to challenge anything that they say because you have been taught not to question what your pastor says. You have been taught not to question what that teacher is teaching. You have been taught not to question that doctor. Everything that they say is right and exact. You can't know what you're talking about. And if you seek any knowledge outside of that religious doctrine or outside of that educational doctrine, then you are wrong. You are condemned. You are to be punished for that. You are evil. You are the heathen. Just because you question the pastor, just because you read a science book that goes against your religious beliefs, now all of a sudden you are demonized. And that's the third and fourth part of the process for this organization to provide answers that the individual does not have. And that individual will accept those answers because they have lost faith in themselves. When you lose this faith in yourself, when you lose the faith in your ability to discover and find out answers on your own, you are subject to the answers of everybody outside of yourself. So it's easy for you to be controlled when you don't feel as though you have the power to discover the answers. And that's how a lot of these organizations and institutions are gaining control of our minds, because we are handing our minds over to them, all because we living in fear. We have let them plant these concepts in our heads. We have believed them. And now we're running around in fear of these concepts. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you, but man, heaven and hell simply does not exist in the terms in which a lot of these people say that they do. That's all mental states, man. That's all in the mind. Has nothing to do with what happens or where you go after you die. All this God talk that they talking about in religion, all this connection to the divine, you possess that inside of yourself. You don't have to go to no church to connect to some higher power. You can sit at the crib and connect to that higher power. Tithes ain't necessarily got anything to do with handing all your money over to a pastor so they can live lavishly while you struggle. Man, you can pay your tithes by simply taking care of your children. You can pay your tithes by simply being nice to humanity, being helpful to humanity, being helpful to a brother on the streets. You can pay your tithes by dropping knowledge. Information is currency. That could be a form of tithes, man. Just simply you dropping knowledge to a brother in need and helping them with their situation. That's you paying your tithes. That's you doing your duty as a civilized black man and woman. So we got to quit letting these organizations corrupt and control our minds. You have the power. Seize control of your own mind, man. Take back your mind. Stop living in fear and start dictating and writing your history in advance. Peace.